Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I am back on the War Thunder Update 1.87 development server, and I'm going to be taking a look at two new jet aircraft for Italy. First off, the G.91 YS, and this thing, I have to say, it is one of the best looking jets in this game. It just looks brilliant. They've taken a standard G91, given it a really much bigger fuselage, which mounts more powerful guns, 2 jet engines rather than 1, so generally pretty good. This is the first tier 6 for the Italian aviation tech tree, 9.0 BR, single crew member being the pilot. 698 mile an hour top speed at sea level, a 29-second turn time, which definitely isn't too bad. It is a G91, so good maneuverability is a given, really. And also a 75 meter per second rate of climb. Very good rate of climb there, definitely something that I'm excited to test out in actual air games. Obviously not as good as some of the things you might face, like early MiG-19s, but nonetheless, it is still pretty damn good. Now, the guns I mentioned, more powerful guns, 230mm DIFA 5.52 cannons with 125 rounds per gun. Definitely pretty damn good there. And of course, you have 2 engines, 2 General Electric engines, rather than the single Rolls-Royce Orpheus engine on the earlier variants of the G91. So, you know, decent looking airplane. Weaponry, of course, it's a G91. Many types of bombs. You have Mighty Mouse rockets, actually, which are the rocket pods. They're now called Mighty Mouse rockets. You have 4 of these rocket pods, giving you an overall capacity, if you carry all 4, of having 76 rockets, and of course various bombs, armor piercing bombs, standard iron bombs, various things. The max loadout you can take is the effectively you have mods where it's installation of 500 pound bombs, you can have 2. Tier 2 mod is extra 500 pound bombs, so you can have 4, and then it's the same for tier 3 1000s, and then tier 4 is the modification to add extra 1000s, which is the payload I'm showing you now. You have 4 1000 pound armor piercing bombs. They will do a lot of damage if they hit on target. Even if they don't, they'll probably do a lot of damage. And there are the 4 Mighty Mouse rocket pods. And finally, tier 4 modification is the 2 AIM-9B sidewinders, which are mounted on underwing pylons out near the end of the wings. So let's go do a test flight. We're going to take the AIM-9Bs. We're going to go see if we can blow some stuff up, and hopefully it all goes to plan. Okay, so now we're on the runway, we're going to get going. As you can definitely see on the back, you got those twin engines rather than the single exhaust, so pretty damn good there. And the fuselage is certainly longer and a lot more chunky. I just prefer the look of this. They've taken the sort of so-called cute-looking G91 early variants, and they've made it actually look scary. It's pretty damn good in my opinion. Just brilliant acceleration there as well. Just take off, fold the gear in, and we're up to a good climb. And, you know, it's good maneuverability at low speeds, as is a given with the G91s. Generally, the G91 series are basically designed as strike aircraft, strike fighters. So a given would be that they would be fairly maneuverable aircraft, and they certainly are. Now, this variant, I'm seeing the slats on the leading edge of the wing extend out at lower speeds when maneuvering. I don't think the G91 Rs or the pre-series have them. Or it might be, since it's the same wing design, or it might just be a feature that's just been added. So I will have to check that in a bit when we look at the R4. But nonetheless, we're going. There's a little MiG-15 up there. I'm just going past him, going to turn in behind, and then get a lock on with the AIM-9. So let's see how this goes. Obviously, this is the AIM-9B, so it's the early variant of the Sidewinder. You only have 6 Gs, I believe, of force that the missile can actually pull. A lot less than the current AIM-9E, which is the new variant in the game as of this update. The missile has gone, and boom, there we go, MiG-15 down. I think equipping this with sidewinders is a really good thing, purely because you're flying along, just picture this yourself, you're flying along an ARB, you've been up-tiered, there's a MiG-19. He can pull away very easily. He does a gun run on you, flies off in a straight line. You can lock the missile on, fire it, and if he's an idiot, you're going to get the kill. He's just not going to turn and you're going to get a kill. So, you know, and as you can see, the guns, not much ammo, but they can kill ground targets fairly effectively. Although, if you're going for if you're planning on ground pounding, don't take the AIM-9s, take the rocket pods instead. That is a better idea. But nonetheless, pretty good there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around for a landing. As I did notice this thing, before I recorded this footage for the video, I played it on stream. And what I noticed there was I was flying it, especially on approach and landing, like a normal G91. What you need to keep in mind is that this thing is quite a bit heavier. It is a much bigger fuselage, a lot more weight in there. So if you fly it like a normal G91, you're going to stall into the ground and your aircraft will explode, as happened to me on live stream. So make sure to come in another 10-15 miles an hour faster, or if you're in kilometers, like 20-25 kilometers per hour faster. That way you sort of don't run the risk of stalling the aircraft on approach. This aircraft does have great acceleration though, so if you still have decent height and you notice you are stalling, just put the power on, get a bit of speed up, and then you can just slowly back off and let the aircraft flare in for a nice landing. Anyway though, getting on approach, recording this footage, even this landing here was very borderline. I think I did stall the aircraft and I had to very sharply pitch up just before touchdown. I was aiming for the end of the runway. I touched down well before that, purely because I believe I stalled the aircraft and I pulled up very steeply and the slats extended, and that gave me just enough lift not to smash the gear. It was still an incredibly bumpy landing, as you see. I just pull up quickly and it bumps, slams into the ground, bounces, and I do land. But you can still see I am going very fast, so you need to land this thing quick, especially though if you're carrying rocket pods. The actual pods themselves, after the rockets are gone, are still there. That adds weight to the aircraft and drag, so you're going to want to come in quite a bit faster then. So it is a quick landing aircraft, but there we go, we're down, we're on the ground. So now what I'm going to do is show the rocket pods. Not going to attack a target or anything. I'm just going to spam the rockets and show you guys how many there are. 76 of these. They're unguided. You can set rocket salvo, or you can set individual fire. I would advise rocket salvo, really. If you want to use it in 10 for example, rocket salvo is the way to go. But generally it's pretty damn good. So we're in the air, we're going along. Just get to a good position. I think this should do it. So we'll just make a quick turn just to get in a nice direction. There we go. And yeah, so that's the first load, and yeah, that's a lot of rockets. As you might say, that's a lot of damage. I know it's pretty much a dead meme, but still, don't complain. Anyway though, that's the G.91 YS. I really love this thing. I'm really excited to play it. This though is the G.91 R4, a Portuguese Air Force version of the G.91. This is a Tier 5 Premium for the Italians. Of course, they get a Tier 6 jet, so they get a Tier 5 Premium. This can mount 4 Sidewinders, 4 AIM-9Bs. It is effectively an R1, as far as I can tell, just with extra armament. So Rank 5, 9.0 BR, you've got those 12.7mm M3 Browning machine guns for them, 1,200 rounds of ammunition. You then have the 4 AIM-9Bs as one of your optional loadouts. Crew of 1, 674 miles per hour at sea level as the maximum speed, 26 second turn time, better than the Y. Obviously this is a lighter aircraft, and then also a 29 meters per second climb rate, far less than the Y, but nonetheless it's pretty decent. You got, now I think that's a bug, it says it as steel where the glass should be, and bulletproof glass makes up the canopy tub. That's a bug. That's dev server stuff. Ignore that. But nonetheless, it does have some interesting loadouts, and it does have some, and obviously there's the Bristol Orpheus. I called it Rolls-Royce Orpheus earlier. It is in fact the Bristol Orpheus engine. There's the guns, fuel tanks in the center. That obviously leads to better C of G. You don't want all your fuel at the back because the aircraft will pitch up. Now, obviously Mighty Mouse, this only carries 2. It's an early G91, 2 rocket pods there, rather than the 4 that can be mounted on the Y. You also have the Nord AS. Now, on the dev server, I saw somewhere that it said AAM, and it has the logo of an anti-air missile. So I presumed, in my endless stupidity, that this was in fact an anti-aircraft missile. It is not. It is an air-to-ground missile. That is what this is. Do not confuse it for anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the footage of me stupidly trying to fire this at a MiG-15 because it doesn't do anything. It's similar control to that of the Bullpup. It is, you have 2 variants, one with more explosive, one with less explosive. So this has got guided air-to-ground missiles. So now I'm going to cut out the section of me test flying with it and skip to the AIM-9Bs. Okay, so here we are on the end of the runway with our loadout of 4 AIM-9B Sidewinders. We're going to start going now. Now, obviously, this does have worse acceleration and worse climb rate by quite a bit when compared to the YS. That is partially why I think that the YS is actually going to be maybe up-tiered, or this is possibly going to be down-tiered. Although, on the other hand, 4 Sidewinders could be pretty devastating at a lower rating. So we're just going to have to wait and see for either the next dev server or the live server. Anyway though, we are now in the air. This is obviously a Portuguese skin. There is actually a second skin where the whole thing is just green with the grey underside, rather than the double color camouflage. The brown and the green is just green, but I didn't show that, but it's just a little thing there. It's 200 golden eagles. Anyway though, MiG-15, let's go see what we can do. So I'm going to sort of intersect with him and turn in behind, get a lock, fire the missile. I would like it if they added bots that were a bit more, sort of turned a bit more. In the general test flights, the bots will go in a straight line for like 10 miles and then turn off and go in another direction, which is a bit useless really. It would be good if they could sort of go in a straight line, turn a little bit, be a bit weavy. That would be good. And there we go, he's dead. That's a bit of a dead MiG-15 right there. Aim 9 Sidewinder, not exactly such a healthy thing for him to eat, but nonetheless, again, like I said with the YS, these missiles are incredibly useful, especially in up tiers. Supersonic jet flies past you, he did a gun run, he missed or you were able to dodge him, he flies past, goes in a straight line. At least if he's in a straight line for a short time, if you can get the missile on him, fire it, and it hits him within that time, you know, you're generally going to kill him. If, for example, he's incredibly close to you and you're only just behind him, you will kill him. It will hit, even if he tries to turn. You can be close enough that he will not escape it. So, missiles can be useful. Of course, the Magic Mouse unguided rockets, the rocket pods, very useful for tank RB. I've not used the specific Mighty Mouse ones, but I have used the SNEB rockets, the 37mm ones, on the Barrow. I've used them in tank RB. Generally very good things to use, actually. Very useful. So, I would say this is a very good premium to get. This is the one that I'm considering getting. It's either... because I was going to get the Seahawk, the German Seahawk, but that is at a far higher rating than I actually wanted it to be. So I'm considering getting either the G91 or the Seahawk. The Valtor, not interested in. The F-40 Sabre, I don't really play Japan anyway. France, I can just use the Naval Tier 4 Premium. I don't need the Valtor. Also, not to mention the Valtor is not maneuverable, so air-to-air missiles will have fun with it. But this is pretty fun. Maneuverable, good amount of air-to-air missiles, good guns. Just generally a very nice aircraft, and it can be used in multiple game modes very effectively. Anyway, going to end the video there. So there were two new G91s, a premium one at tier 5 and a Tech G one at tier 6. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Anyway though, thank you very much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, smash the like button, maybe subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.